We need to talk about the Phantom. He's a murderer, a stalker, a kidnapper, and a textbook gaslighter. He is the walking, talking, flawlessly singing definition of a toxic obsession. So why, after all these years of falling chandeliers and soaring high seas, are so many of us still drawn to him? I think the answer has less to do with the 19th century Paris opera house he haunts, and more to do with the complex, chaotic world we live in now. The story of the Phantom is a mirror. It reflects our own deepest anxieties about love, rejection, and the fractured identities we build. It's been seen by over 160 million people worldwide. Its music has been streamed and remixed into oblivion. And in 2025, even after closing its record-shattering Broadway run, it's coming back. A brand new, multi-year tour is set to launch across North America. This isn't just a story that has survived, it's a story that is thriving. Because beyond the spectacle, the Phantom of the Opera endures for one simple reason. Its exploration of toxic relationships, social alienation, and the masks we all wear is more relevant today than it has ever been. Let's start with the central relationship, the dark, swirling heart of the entire story. The dynamic between the Phantom and Christine Daae. Looking at this through a modern lens, it's not just a complicated love story, it's a masterclass in psychological manipulation. The language we use today for unhealthy relationships fits the Phantom's playbook perfectly. He love bombs Christine. He isn't a man, but an angel of music, a divine guide sent by her dead father to nurture her talent. He isolates her, convincing her that only he can understand her gift, that only he can make her a star. This is grooming, plain and simple, disguised as mentorship. His control is absolute. He dictates her career, punishes her for disobedience, and flies into rage. When Christine falls for her childhood friend, Raoul, the Phantom's possessiveness escalates into pure terror. His mantra, "My power over you grows stronger yet," isn't a declaration of love, it's a mission statement of control. This blend of seduction and intimidation is a chillingly accurate portrayal of what experts call a trauma bond. Christine admits that the Phantom fills me with horror and yet I do not hate him. We're more attuned to the red flags of gaslighting and coercive control, yet drawn to him. He's the classic tortured artist, the dark, misunderstood genius who promises to see potential in us. He offers a dangerous, intoxicating alternative to the safe, predictable world Raoul represents. The story validates the conflict of being drawn to someone you know is bad for you. We can label the Phantom as toxic, yet the story's emotional pull remains, making us question the line between destructive passion and genuine love. The Phantom's toxicity doesn't come from nowhere. It's forged in a lifetime of cruelty and rejection. He is a genius, a composer, architect, and inventor, but society condemns him for his physical deformity. He is, as he sings, a gargoyle who lives in hell but dreams of heaven. His response to being ostracized is incredibly modern. He retreats. He builds his own world, his own reality, in the catacombs beneath the opera house. Doesn't that sound familiar? We see this impulse everywhere today. When faced with a world they feel has rejected them, people retreat into the digital catacombs of the internet. They find echo chambers and algorithmic rabbit holes that reinforce their sense of grievance and alienation. The Phantom is, in many ways, the ultimate 19th century incel. He's a man of immense talent who believes he is owed love and adoration. When society denies him that, his resentment curdles into a violent rage directed at the world that scorned him, and a possessive obsession with the one woman he thinks can redeem him. The musical never lets us forget that his monstrosity is partly a creation of a cruel society. He isn't a simple villain, he's an anti-hero. We pity him because we understand the pain of being an outsider. We empathize with his desperate, human need for acceptance even as we're horrified by the monstrous acts that lead him to commit. The story forces us to look at the outcast not as a one-dimensional monster, but as a product of social failure. It asks a deeply uncomfortable question that feels especially relevant in our polarized world. What responsibility do we bear for the monsters we create? And then, there is the mask. It's the single most iconic image from the show. Its thematic power has only intensified in our online world. The Phantom's mask is, of course, a literal tool to hide his scarred face. But it's also a powerful metaphor for performing an identity. Beneath the opera house, the Phantom has complete control over how he's perceived. He is a ghost, a legend, a disembodied voice. He has curated his own brand. On social media, we are all the phantoms of our own digital opera houses. We carefully construct profiles, filter images, and curate the narratives of our lives. We present a polished, idealized version of ourselves, hiding the parts we deem imperfect or unlovable. The Phantom's desperate attempt to control his image is a dark reflection of our own anxiety. His terror when Christine unmasks him is the same terror we might feel if our personas were shattered. The story's obsession with what lies beneath the surface speaks to our modern struggle with authenticity. We live in a state of constant performance, managing multiple identities across platforms. The Phantom's struggle is our struggle, just amplified to a theatrical extreme. He becomes a symbol of our deepest insecurities about image, perception, and vulnerability. This thematic resonance is why, decades after its debut, The Phantom of the Opera remains a global phenomenon. It set a new standard for the blockbuster musical, proving a show could be both spectacular entertainment and a dense psychological drama. Its influence paved the way for modern hits like Wicked and The Lion King. The music and imagery are so deeply embedded in our culture that its overture was even featured in the 2024 Paris Olympics opening ceremony, instantly recognizable to a global audience. New generations are constantly discovering it, with its themes finding new life on platforms like TikTok. Even after the historic closure of its 35-year Broadway run, the demand hasn't faded. A revitalized production, praised by London critics, is set to launch a multi-year North American tour in late 2025. The Phantom isn't a relic, it's a living, evolving piece of theater that continues to find new audiences because its core story touches on something universal. So, I have to ask, where do you fall on the Phantom? Is he a tragic, romantic anti-hero who deserves our sympathy? Or is he an irredeemable monster whose actions can't be excused? There is no easy answer, and that's what makes the story so brilliant. The Phantom of the Opera is more than just a musical. It's a cultural touchstone that has managed to feel both timeless and shockingly current. It holds a mirror to our modern anxieties. Its depiction of toxic love is a powerful cautionary tale. Its exploration of social rejection helps us understand alienation. And its famous mask speaks directly to our struggles with identity in a hyper-visible world. We are drawn back to the Phantom's lair, again and again, not because we condone his crimes, but because we recognize the fractured human cowering behind the monstrous facade. We see his desperate need to be loved, his terror of rejection, and his tragic, self-destructive impulses. In him, we see the darkest parts of ourselves and our society reflected back. And that unsettling, haunting recognition is precisely why the music of the night is more powerful and more relevant than ever. The Phantom is more than a mask. He is a wound that sings, a voice that refuses to be forgotten, a ghost that lives inside all of us, the part of our soul that has loved too deeply and lost too much. We see him in the broken genius who hides behind a screen, in the perfectionist who fears rejection more than death, in the artist who creates beauty but cannot bear to show his face. And yet, the Phantom still sings. Through pain, through isolation, through centuries. His music echoes in every heart that has ever begged to be seen, but felt invisible. In every soul that has longed for love, but been told they are too strange, too scarred, too much. But here's the truth, we are all the Phantom. We all wear masks. We all hide our wounds behind music, art, silence, or success. That's why the Phantom of the Opera refuses to fade. It endures because it's not just a story, it's a prophecy. A warning, a lullaby, a scream. And in a world obsessed with beauty and perfection, this opera reminds us that sometimes the ugliest truths sing the most beautiful songs. So when the chandelier falls and the last note fades, ask yourself, What mask are you wearing? And what would happen if you let it fall? Because true power isn't found in hiding your darkness. It's found in letting your voice rise through it. You've been watching Opera Brownn, where voices like these are never silenced, and where every aria opens a new door into the soul. If this story moved you, subscribe to Opera Brownn for more journeys into the music that reveals us. Share this with someone who still believes that music can heal, and that even in the shadows, beauty survives. Until next time, the curtain may fall, but the song goes on.